Third, meta study designs we have done. We have done the that comes under observational study. Observational study. Okay. Analytical studies, right? These are your what? Observational analytical studies. Anybody has done? Cross sectional? No done. Who has cross sectional? Analytical, not descriptive. There was comparison. All of this, all this, a little bit, you know, analytical studies. What makes them different from each other? Direction, the pointer is not working. Can you see the direction? That is important. Now, design we are going to use in our project. Yes? Yes? Why am I asking? Anything else? Time duration. Out about the study should be defined. Very your data collection will be decided. You are planning for case control, you are planning for cohort study. That is why it needs to be decided before end only. Study design you are going to use for your objectives will be also based on your based on your discussion. So everything is basically they try to find out the effect. Secondly, also uses outcome variables. Next 5 zeros. Cause, effect, exposure, outcome, predictor variable, and here you need a comparison. Okay? There is no comparison. cross-sectional, the disease cohort study, you first select patients with exposure and patients or people without exposure. How many develop disease in both the groups? For the forward looking. The case control study, cases with a particular disease, and you select controls who are not having the disease. However, they are both almost having similar. Group activity is the part, so you should know. Each group has to present a particular type of study. So I told us, when we have hypothesis statement, people who smoke hookah are more likely to get lung cancer than people who do not. Right? Without. So what is your exposure here? क्रॉस सेक्शन क्रॉस सेक्शन का मतलब एक ही बार में आप देखिए एक ही पिक्चर में जो दिखता है आप सब देख रहे हो वही लॉन्जिट्यूडनल स्टडीज आर लाइक अ फिल्म सेम क्लियर इन द क्रॉस सेक्शन स्टडी एक ही बार so you want to study you want out that is there any association obviously you want to study between in the adults who are between 30 to 50 years of age. So what you will do, you will have your sampling frame, you will cholesterol. So exposure is more than 30. People that will give you a 2 by 2 table. Am I clear? Prevalence of disease in various groups, exposed and non-exposed. Between the exposure and is physically active or inactive. Any statistical test. Which statistical test can be applied in this table? Non-parametric, which one? Thanks. Why thanks, sir? Thanks, sir. Categories by square. Remember, your data is in the form of categories. exposure odds ratio when I put the case controls. Of the examples of cross-section and so we are not going to go into much of detail of cross-sectional because case control and what is the risk factors of case and factors as a disease? Now let's go to case control study. Now please all of you pay attention. Communication. You don't know where to. You ask how do what is compared? Exposure is compared between the cases and we study effect to cause. Why do we say that the study moves from effect to cause? Anyone? Find cases who are having particular or whatever you are going to study. Yeah. So उसको आप case करके लेबल करेंगे and the controls will be almost having similar, criteria. Okay, sir. Now I just wanted to mention it's not that important. Case. New cases. So can we calculate incidence rate from? Because you are just thinking about you just cherry picking the case. You don't have a denominator. हम सिर्फ कोई भी आप but we don't. He begins. Line is drawn on the right hand side, extreme right hand side. And already. And then you look for the exposure in both the groups. That is from outcome to you want to find out the this will be cases. Controls will be they are comparable but they are not cases as well as so here a research question. Define the objectives. Identify and select the cases. Or old cases. Which one you want? Then you have to do the data collection, the measurement of the exposure. तो अभी तो क्यों कर रहा है कितने साल से कर रहा है ओके इन द डे हाउ मेनी तो देखो when you analyze your data whatever you software to the analysis and of the association between cause and effect, association between the cause and effect of exposure and outcome. It can be from hospital, controls, but same hospital से भी आप ले सकते हो. People who are not suffering from that disease, you can take from the people who are staying जहाँ रहते हैं उसके points to be remembered. The control must be at risk of getting the same gender, same risk of development of the disease similar to the similar cervical cancer. Definitely, around 6 years of control female रहेगा. Can be individually matched or frequency matched. Case of oral cancer. You will try to also 55 years old male who is not suffering from oral. 5 years, from same range. So the range has to be decided in such a way that whatever range you are deciding, that change the risk will plus or minus 5 maximum I will. You can take has to be very, very specific. Control group match the overall characteristics of the cases. What you do is 15% of cases are under the age of 20 cases. So your cases are 50% of the cases are under the age. Controls also you do that way. So you are not doing individual matching. You are doing a frequency matching. आपका जो भी डेटा है सपोज सैंपल साइज 100 I will take different age group का people in different groups. So you do frequency. Now what happens if you do not short for जैसे से comparable होना चाहिए. Then factors. Now I am not going to go in detail as or other biases. The reason is that there is a section on bias. I just and it is independently related to the example. Then you will understand. Why? Because people who are alcoholic है तो उसको दूसरा उसका एडिक्शन भी जनरली रहता है. So that means it has been associated with the alcohol addiction. It is itself a don't take this into consideration, it will lead to confounding. What is bias? Bias is a systematic measure the will be in the similar manner. Given two cases should be case of lung cancer. And I want to नहीं बताना चाहेगा तो भी मैं खुद खुद के उसको कुछ भी दे सकती हूँ. But if I know that this is A, superficially ask. So I will not go in that much of detail. So that should not happen. So you try the person who is going to take, you should not worry cases and order. You should just tell them you have to get this information from, should be supported with the hospital records or other documents which can occur in the case that is introduced bias. History of cases in detail that control, which I have already told, that is what is the introduced bias. I won't go into much of detail. वो बता history can be odds ratio. Then here what is probability and what is odds. You always say na odds in favor or odds in not favor. Well, session का effect or just wanted to sensitize you. So the probability that an event will occur is the fraction of times you expect to see that event in life. Find as the probability that the event will occur divided by the probability. See the example. Event happening, not happening will be your study का 2 by 2 table. How are you going to make it? and then you go with the control side. So what you do, vertical cases, and on the side control. So your study starts from effect to cause. Okay. So you make your table also accordingly. You first write cases and controls. What is the total of cases and what are the total of controls? It's 100. This is hundreds. Now you want to find out how many are exposed and non-exposed in cases and controls. So now you start putting your exposed and non-exposed. Okay. Clear. Okay. This is the easiest way to make your case control. Also in the similar form. How do you calculate odds ratio in case control study? Odds ratio in case control study is calculated by using a formula. What is the formula? The formula is the large one. Odds of exposure in cases upon odds of exposure in controls. This is the final formula here. तो ये कैसे आता है? The first is odds of exposure in cases. How do we get that? Here. Odds of exposure in cases is cases with exposure, that is A. Cases without exposure, that is C. That is A upon C. Odds of exposure in controls. Controls with exposure, that is B. This what is odds of exposure in cases upon odds of exposure in controls. So by using this formula, you will get your final formula as AD upon BC. I think everybody knows this. AD upon BC. लेकिन AD upon BC कैसे आया? That we just wanted to. However, nobody is going to ask you this. Just for your information. Okay, so this AD sometimes reviewing an article and you want to find out whether this odds ratio which is mentioned is correct or not. That time you formula you can you selected the AD upon BC. If you use the formula, it comes to 1.7. So how do you interpret this odds ratio? Odds ratio is 1. That means there is no association between the cause and the effect. If it is more, it indicates a positive association. If it is less, it indicates a negative association. Right? How many times more likely the odds of finding an exposure in someone with disease as compared to the exposure in someone without disease? Complicated? Anybody want to try this? How to interpret this? Odds ratio is positive. Yes, sir. By using this method, this particular sentence which is read, you would like to explain the ratio given in the previous. Ratio is 1.27 times. Okay.
So children who are given MMR vaccine are more prone for
उल्टा करेंगे उल्टा करेंगे उल्टा करेंगे ना because it started. So autism people are at yes, correct. Why you should know this? Because in the cohort study we are going to do ulta. Because you are moving from exposure to outcome. Please remember this is not very easy. This is confusing. From the probability to the odds to the interpretation of odds. लेकिन अगर इतना समझ में आ गया ना, that's more than enough to understand. And then of course you can read in detail. कैसे डिराइव किया AD1 BC इतना समझ में आ गया. Odds का समझ में आ गया. ऑड्स कहीं और भी यूज करते हैं कहाँ यूज करते हैं ऑड्स इन फेवर ऐसा हम बोलते हैं ना क्रिकेट में या मैच में और कहीं नहीं करते
betting.
हाँ बोलो जोर से
Betting, gambling.
पॉलिटिशियंस वोट्स के लिए बोलते हैं ना ऑड्स इन फेवर आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड लिटिल बिट बहुत डिटेल में नहीं समझा तो भी चलेगा थोड़ा बहुत strengths of this case control strategy. Carry out easy था sir. Okay, I want to ask. Was it easy? As compared to cohort study, है ना? And there is no follow up. Already occurred, so there is no need to follow. है ना? आप disease कोई pick कर जाओ और उसके efficient for study of rare diseases. So mainly it is used for the rare diseases, but yes, you can use for other diseases also. Good for examination exposure. यहाँ oral cancer and tuberculosis, but some other factors may be also there. To find those factors, okay, which are called as exposure factors other than your study question, that can be also studied. And oral hygiene हो गया या there is some problem with the denture. I don't know. I should not speak in front of you people. And no these two subjects because there is no intervention. You are not doing anything. You are just observing. So there is no risk to participants. Limitations of businesses. Bias is there. Selection bias, recall bias, and observer bias. Limited to only one study outcome because follow up नहीं कर सकते हो. So you have selected the cases with particular disease, so outcome is only one. You cannot see for multiple outcomes and unable to estimate the incidence. Of the examples I wanted to show a case control study of diet and prostate cancer. Last bench, can you see this? These are my references. Need break or should we go to the cohort study? तो saturation हो गया है या फिर नींद आ गई है? What? Stretching कर सकते हो खड़े होके. Continue कर दे. Next is cohort study. Definition which is given. So cohort is a well-defined group of individuals who share a common characteristic or experience. From where this term has come, anyone? From where this term has come? After my session, we are going to have group activity. Okay. So you have to find. You do now? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Which are born in Same year, they can take a as sir said in the morning, longitudinal study. Descriptive studies are mainly descriptive longitudinal studies are known as longitudinal studies. But when you say cohort, they are analytical studies. But in the Google, if you type longitudinal studies, they will say cohort study, cohort study, cohort study. You don't know what is longitudinal descriptive study? Okay, you can give some other example. Longitudinal descriptive study.
You are checking like if you are checking something that is going to it's occurring in particular, but how is it changing over
Over a period of time. Yes. So let's say you got group of preterm babies. You see them every 2 monthly to find out how they are growing. So this is group of preterm babies. There is no comparison group. So it is a longitudinal descriptive study. It is a single group and there is no comparison. But if you compare preterm and normal term babies, there are two groups now. There is one preterm group, the other one is normal term babies. And now you want to find out how they are growing over a period of time. 5 years of age. So this is cohort study because you are comparing two groups. If you take the group, you are just seeing a longitudinal descriptive study. Am I clear? Am I clear? No? Clear? Now, why I have written this longitudinal study, follow-up study? Because in Google or in many of the books you will find this terminology, synonyms. But cohort बोला तो by and large it is analytical studies वो लेके चलो. Observation analytical studies. So what are the characteristics? Participants are classified according to exposure status. Group of people not exposed. Follow over time to ascertain the outcome, also known as disease or health condition. Can be used to find multiple outcomes from a single exposure. Health effects of nuclear power plant accident. People who are exposed, people who are maybe less exposed, and people who are not exposed. Over a period of time, what has happened? Appropriate for their exposure or defined manageable. When I say manageable, matlab they should be available. You should be able to do the measurement over a period of time, and they should be motivated to remain in your studies. Because if they are tired, if they lose the interest, they will leave your and then you will have a lot of cost to follow. So that is why I see to that cohort is available. In our hospital, which cohort you can actually do cohort studies? Very easy to carry out actually. All the manuals, it's okay, but of course it's very common with any cohort. What cohort you will? Single group या double group की बात कर रहे हैं? What groups? Okay, still, chalo, because people come. Something which is more easy to get. Follow up. और follow up के लिए असली ये by and large they come for follow. Diabetes, okay, very good. Glaucoma, chalo. So more common. Pregnant female, ANC. ANC mothers. ANC mothers without anemia. And उसको follow up कर. वो आएंगे ना by and large. Follow up and see what happens to you. What is your outcome? You maybe it's problem in the children. So it can be some morbidity in the neonates. So that can be your outcome. So pregnant mothers with anemia. Cohort should be manageable. That is what is the importance. And it ensures the temporality. That means we know that the exposure has occurred before the outcome because we start with the exposure. है ना? So we know कि क्या पहले आया है, अंडा पहले है कि मुर्गी, but we know here that the exposure is before and the outcome has occurred after that only. Right? So whenever you recruit participants for cohort study, coronary heart disease, so baseline में दोनों ग्रुप में जितने लोगों को coronary heart disease है उनको आप निकाल दोगे, they will be excluded from your study. So the outcome of interest should not be present at the baseline. They should be removed. Only exposure. So you want to have diabetes, non-diabetes, and you want to see outcome as coronary heart disease. So diabetes becomes your exposed group, non-diabetes becomes your non. You try to find out the coronary heart disease over a period of time in 20 years. But जिसको पहले ही रहेगा coronary उसको आप निकाल दो. You will not keep them everywhere. This is what I wanted to show. Yes, I know it is complicated. The cohort is disease free. Okay, so outcome of interest has not occurred. Or if they are there, you have to exclude them. Then you have got exposed cohort, you have got unexposed cohort, and over a period of time you are going to follow them up to find out how many develop disease, how many remain disease free. And the other group also, how many develop disease, how many remain disease free. What? Non-smoker. Smoker is your exposed group. Your unexposed group. And after some 5 साल, 10 साल, how many develop lung cancer? So now you are going to find out the outcome. That is. The thing is that in the cohort, we have got prospective cohort study design, we have got retrospective cohort study design. ज़्यादा हो गया? हाँ, होना ही है. ये आपको still research मतलब I mean the study design. जैसे जैसे stats आएगा. Cohort study and the third one is combined prospective and retrospective, which we are now going to discuss today. But prospective and retrospective we are going to discuss. As I said, in the cohort study, the direction is from exposure to outcome or cause to effect. So in the prospective cohort study क्या होता है? Exposure या तो हो गया है या होने वाला है, and then you are going to follow them up over a period of time to see outcome हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. But what happens in the retrospective cohort study? As the name suggests, retrospective मतलब retrospective में हो गया है, but you are starting study now. पूरे events हो गए हैं, but आप अभी चालू कर रहे हो. And what is the difference between case control and retrospective cohort study?
Disease has not occurred.
Disease must have occurred, sir. Disease हो गया रहेगा. हाँ, you will start your study from cause to effect. Now let me give you an example. Industries में pre-placement examination होता है. Who are enrolled from let's say 2010 to 2012. जितने भी employer थे वो सब employees थे वो सबका baseline investigation हो गया है. Now chemical, जहाँ chemical use होता है, other group was administrative group. So उनका periodical checkup होता है ना, this industrial worker का. So the outcome is occurred. People have developed disease. Okay, skin उनको problem नहीं है. You start study now, but you will start from the baseline. Why? Because industries में उनके सब records हैं. So you will see from the baseline what is the exposed group, people who have gone to the chemical plant, people who have not gone to the chemical plant, and after 6 months, 1 year, when periodic checkups are done regularly, how many of them develop skin problems, how many did not develop skin problems? Am I clear?
So it's through the past records.
So yeah, it is from the past records, but the direction is from exposure to outcome. That is important. The direction moves from exposure to outcome. That is the difference. Am I clear? Whenever you have got good records, whenever you know that documentation are going to be proper, then only you plan retrospective cohorts. Otherwise, very, very, very difficult. Very difficult. Am I clear in making you understand retrospective cohorts? All. Vision है. है? Cohort study, as I said, या तो पहले एक्सपोज रहेगा, अनएक्सपोज रहेगा, या ग्रुप बाद में भी एक्सपोज हो सकता है, ठीक है ना? The direction is important. Don't go into too much of detail of these arrows and all. You get confused. Exposure to outcome, exposure to outcome. और फ्यूचर में आप डिजीज डेवलप होता देखने वाले हो. One of the real largest studies of prospective cohort study, where the cohort of 117 nurses who were not cancer or cardiovascular disease were recruited. And they were then grouped into whether they were obese or they were lean or they were normal basically. So your obesity becomes the risk factor, that is exposure, and your non-obesity becomes your unexposed. And then they were followed over a period of time, and the incidence of cardiovascular disease and cancer were noted. Am I clear with this? As I said, during the group activity, you can discuss this also. Let me explain you what is retrospective cohort study. Your study starts here. Study starts here. Outcome हो गया रहेगा, but when you start your study, you actually go from exposure to outcome, because you have got all these people. So your direction is from exposure to outcome. You will not start with cases and controls. That makes the study as retrospective cohort.
And don't you think case control study is better than this retrospective cohort study?
Well, why?
Ma'am, is it like we go back in time, say the example that you gave, so industry workers, so we form a cohort which was there in 2010,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes.
then follow them up till today.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Like-
yes. But your study starts from today.
But we
But
go
you
back
are
in time.
going back,
In
you are trying
time,
to identify
select
the
a cohort
cohort.
and then follow them up till
Till
today.
date. Yes. Thank you, sir, for giving that input. Am I clear? Yeah, maybe confusion there. So again, this is the example of retrospective cohort study. This is the tire manufacturing company. Yes.
Why not do a case control?
You can do. It is up to you.
Which is better?
Which is better?
Is it a retrospective cohort or a case control?
What are the advantages of cohort study over case control study? Any?
A group of people may be more for the cohort.
Yes. So you have got good sample size. Then
And there is a scope. Intervention is possible. Intervention is possible.
No.
we don't do any intervention in observational studies. There is no intervention. To try to find out between cause and effect will be better, because and you know what is happening first. You know कि exposure पहले हुआ है, outcome बाद में हुआ है. So that temporal association also you'll be able to find out. So that is like, of course, the cohort studies are better than case, and that's why in the hierarchy they are better. So you can do case control study. There is no harm. Advantage of cohort study over case control study. When you got all the data, why not? So as sir said, sir has actually pointed out this, because which I have not mentioned that you have formed a already in the past. It's called as a historical cohort. I have forgotten that word. Thank you so much. It's called as a historical cohort. वो पहले 10 to 2012 वाला, उसको आप अभी follow up कर रहे हैं till 2022. So your study starts now. You go back to 2000 cohort and you try to find out how many of them develop disease. These are people who are working in the chemical section and people who are not working in the chemical section. Okay, let's see that the example given here. That is, this is a tire basically manufacturing company. Okay. Employees of tire manufacturer, people who are involved in the tire manufacturing, who are actually working with the tires and all, and the other group is administrative or clerical staff. That becomes a non-exposed group. And you compare the incidence of, say whatever the outcome is. Now why? Because as I said, in the industries will have all the data available. So you can really carry out retrospective cohorts. When you don't have data, you will not be able to do it.
In retrospective cohort and case control study, the difference I feel is in one place we know what is the effect, in other we don't know what is the effect.
You are looking for the effect. Rather than not know, you are looking for the effect.
That is in case control study.
Looking for the effect in cohort study.
Exposure.
So we already know what the effect is. Means the exposure has already occurred in that case. And here the disease has already occurred and we want to know what was
What is the exposure? Yes. That is case control study.
What ma'am was asking actually is
This can be one of the yes. But that's why that's a temporal association. The exposure or outcome, are they really related? Will be better given by cohort than a case control study.
Because in case control, already whenever you selected a group, now already the exposure is there and disease is there. So you don't know.
So you don't know the
disease
causal
whether-
direction.
Yeah.
Let's take the example of obesity and osteoarthritis. Case who are osteoarthritis, we select the cases who are not osteoarthritis. But obesity पहले आया कि osteoarthritis पहले आया? Because that person was obese, he was not working, so because of that he has got osteoarthritis. Having osteoarthritis, he did not do workout, so he became obese. So that particular direction is not found in case control. Yes, sir, please.
One more thing, like where ma'am was asking, if I have to which one is better, but I think the choice of study will depend on the exposure. Means if exposure is rare, then I think cohort is better, and if disease is rare, then case control
Case control is better. And also cost.
That-
Cost.
Time, resource.
From cohort, yes, you can do multiple. Though
Multiple.
you are looking for coronary heart disease, you can see for other in cohort study. Yes, yes. And of course, cohort studies are studies. Follow up रहता है, but retrospective cohort study में you may not have that because already data is there. Cohort study design. So you will have your research question, you will frame your objectives, you will do the background research. Step 2 is specify the variables of interest and their scales of measurement. Okay, what are your outcome variables? What are your predicted variables? So let's say dichotomous, or you want to do polychotomous. So you want to exposed, non-exposed, yeah, you want to give some grading, mild, moderate, severe hypertension. So you can categorize. So you have to decide your exposure variable beforehand only. Is it hypertension? Yes, no, or it is hypertension, mild, severe, moderate, and of course no hypertension. That will be your fourth. Right? Similarly, outcome variables should also be decided. Okay, whether it is going to be a disease or any health outcome. Again, dichotomous है या polychotomous है. So normotensive, mild hypertensive or moderate. In all your studies, whether it is cohort or whichever, you need to define your variables. You need to write what are your predictive variables, what are your outcome variables, and how are you going to measure them. Have your inclusion and exclusion criteria. तो इसको exclude कर. Okay, a particular age group you are going to exclude, a particular socio-economic status you are going to exclude. Can you calculate the sample size? Study cohort. So whom you are going to, based on your research question, who is going to be your study cohort, right? Who is going to be your comparison cohort. So as I said, in the pregnant females का example, pregnant females with anemia is your exposed group or study cohort, and females without anemia, your non-exposed. Exclude the diseased or outcome of interest in both the groups. As I said, baseline mein, if they have developed the disease which you are going to study, you have to remove them from your, take them. Obtain the data on exposure level, you can do by direct interviews. Again, here training is required. You need to give them training. So training is very important. Are you going to do only questionnaire and you are going to ask the questions, or you are going to do the measurements also, which depends on your research question. Let's say you are doing diabetes, non-diabetes, you want to see the sugar level over a period of time, then you have to do the investigation. So that is investigation, not intervention. Because the sugar level is your investigation, it is your some kind of measurement you are doing, but it is not intervention. Remember that. Follow-up period. Are you going to follow up every yearly, every monthly, every 5 yearly? What will be your final, outcome? When are you going to measure it? 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. So that you have to decide beforehand. So some biases in the cohort studies. Measurement bias. Both the groups try to follow that, as I said, you do training and they should be examined in the similar situations. Same time, same place is not possible. But similar situation. मतलब आप ब्लड प्रेशर मेजर करने वाले हो, एक भाग भाग के आया हुआ है, दूसरा शांति से केबिन में 10 मिनट आराम से रिलैक्स होके, so definitely your exposed group and unexposed group will have different outcomes. So please see to that similar environment is there rather than same your. And observers who are having similar type of training, okay, you need to say that this much, accuracy is required. Again, observer bias. If the investigator knows which group is exposed and which group is not exposed, so जो exposed group रहेगा, again they will go in detailed examination and detailed interview rather than the non-exposed group. So here blinding is very important. Blinding is very important. People will change their group. Okay, crossover bias. So smokers will become non-smokers, or non-smokers will become smokers. So crossover, change करते हैं. Then loss to follow. As I said, कि cohort study when you plan, see to the eligible group, okay, which you can really manage over a period of time. So if there is loss to follow more than 30%, then you have to be very careful of your results. Advantages: establishes the cause and effect. We know कि cause पहले हुआ है, then the outcome. Good when the disease is frequent in exposed group, as I said. Unbiased assessment of exposure. If the training is given properly, then only this is going to happen. And it measures risk. Different types of risk. That is absolute risk, relative risk, and attributable risk. Expensive. Large number of participants. Follow up करना. So you need money. So who is going to fund you? That is decide. है ना? If you are going to do investigation for so many people, who will be paying for this investigations? As I said, large sample requires lengthy follow up. So क्या होगा, या तो जो investigator है that person will lose their interest or the participants will lose their interest. तो दोनों भी हो सकता है. Criteria methods may change over time. When you started, you are labeling diabetes based on the fasting and post lunch. लेकिन 4 साल के बाद now people are saying that HbA1c is the diagnostic criteria. Then what to do? So better to stick to the original one, and then of course you can have with the newer method also your analysis. Issues. Why ethical issues? ऑब्जर्वेशन ना, एथिकल इश्यूज क्यों होना चाहिए? हाँ, so for that you have to take ethical permission. Yes, very good. Anything else?
Consent of the patient.
Consent of the patient. वो तो हर every study we have to take. But why in observational studies?
Everybody is not okay with their records or their.
हाँ, so that's why what sir said, you have to take permission. That is okay. So if they don't give, don't take them. है ना? तो जहाँ मिल जाता है, what ethical issues can come up.
Those who are critical, they need a treatment for that.
हाँ, तो आप उसको सिर्फ ऐसे ही follow up नहीं कर सकते हो, है ना? Just not doing any intervention. Okay, one point to be taken. Yes sir.
मतलब जैसे हम स्मोकिंग और लंग कैंसर का स्टडी कर रहे हैं,
हाँ.
हमें पता है कि ये स्मोकर्स है, फिर भी हम कुछ नहीं कर रहे कि उनको अवॉइड करने के लिए वी आर अलाउइंग देम टू डेवलप lung cancer.
From the other literature we know now that smoking leads to lung cancer, but you are letting the smoke, okay, because you want to study, so that is unethical. So please remember in cohort study, as I said, even pregnant females, anemia के लिए treatment देना पड़ेगा कि नहीं देना पड़ेगा? हाँ? So difficult to manage. So whenever I said, you people kept on saying yes, 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 it can be manageable, but you have to give treatment. What is going to happen? Outcome will change. So ethical issues in cohort study. Last one, analysis. When I told you that in the case control study, you make your table like this, okay, vertical. But in the cohort study, this is just for your information. If you want to do it, what do? You start your study with. You start. Pause. What is that called as? Exposure. So let's say you start your study with exposure and non-exposed. So how many exposed are there? Let's say there are 3,000 people who are exposed. Okay, and non-exposed are 7,000. काफी बड़ा cohort है ना? And now you are going to find out of how many develop disease. And out of non-exposed, how many develop disease? Here. So how to make a 2 by 2 table? That information I just wanted to share with you. Now this we have seen it's example of smoking and lung cancer. So smoking is your exposure. People who are smokers, people who are non-smokers, right? Smoking present, smoking absent. दो cohort है, दो cohort क्या? And then you find out how many develop lung cancer, how many do not develop lung cancer. So this is what your data looks like. Now you want to find out what is the incidence rate of lung cancer in both the groups. So how do you find out that? Among these, it is 70 upon 7,000. But 7,000 here, that is your exposed cohort का. उसमें से 70 लोगों, that is 10 per 1,000, right? And in the people who are not smokers of lung cancer, that is 3 upon 3,000. That comes to your 1 per 1,000. You multiply by 1,000. Is it clear? In cohort study, how do you measure the strength of association between exposure and outcome? Yes. Cohort में क्या है? Relative risk. It is relative risk. Relative risk मतलब in the exposed and in the unexposed. What is the risk? So the relative risk measures the strength of association between exposure and outcome in cohort study. The formula is incidence of the disease among exposed upon incidence of disease among non-exposed. So have we calculated this? Incidence in exposed and incidence in non-exposed, हमने calculate. Yeah, na? So what will be the formula here? हाँ, तो क्या आएगा? वहाँ फिगर्स क्या आएंगे? 10 upon 1. Right. The formula is going to be 10 upon 1. So how do you interpret this relative risk? Okay. Hara is equal to 1, there is no association between the exposure and if Hara is more than 1, it suggests positive association. 2, that indicates the incidence rate of disease is 2 times higher in exposed compared to non. 2 times higher in exposed compared to non-exposed. Now let's go back to the example. Interpret. The lung cancer is 10 times higher in smokers compared to non-smokers. Am I clear? There is one more which you find in cohort study. That is called as an attributable risk. So the relative risk is also known as risk ratio because it is ratio between two quantities, incidence among exposed upon incidence among non-exposed. Whereas the attributable risk is known as risk difference. How do we calculate? Incidence among exposed minus incidence among non-exposed upon incidence among exposed multiplied by 100. So in our example, it is 10 minus 1 upon 10 multiplied by 100, which gives you 90%. So what does it do? It indicates to what extent the disease under study can be attributed to the exposure. Attributable, na? So the extent the disease under study can be attributed to the exposure. In this example, it is 90%. So suggest the amount of disease that might be eliminated if the factor under study could be controlled or eliminated. So अगर smoking निकाल दोगे तो there will be less number of. Yeah. So this is one of the examples, that is smoking and risk of psoriasis nationwide. The stroke statement. Stroke statement. Is strengthening the reporting of observational studies. Anybody has used this checklist? This is a checklist for observational studies. So these are used in both the ways. One, you can plan your study checklist. So there are different points, so that you do not any of these steps while planning your study. And it is also used to criticize your journal articles. I mean, people, we have journal clubs. So in that, we can use this checklist to criticize any given article. So this can be used both ways. Okay? Last. Difference between case control and cohort study. Short note in your exam, so you should know. एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू या वाइवा में क्या पूछेंगे तो फिर एवरीबॉडी इज रेडी नहीं मैं नहीं बताऊंगी इट्स नॉट यू हैव टू टेल मी सो विल गो वन बाय वन एग्जाम कब है वो यूनिवर्सिटी को पता I just wanted to ask you, have you understood little bit of case control and policy? Will be confusion, not really. We also took time to some of the concepts takes time. And especially when in one day you have got all studies. ये एक साथ हो गया है ना, तो इतना कुछ खिचड़ी हो गया है, इसको सेपरेट कर, you will be able to understand. चलो बताओ one by one. First group. Yes. Yes. First we go case control, we go what type of difference, and then we definitely go. First, yes.
Case control is from effect to cause, and cohort is from cause to effect.
Now I have to tell you something. If sir has to read from his notes this, that means my lecture is not at all effective.
I haven't written.
Thank you so much. That's the first part. Okay, case control from effect to cause, and cohort from cause to effect. Any other?
Controls for rare.
Yes. Case control gives odds ratio and cohort gives relative risk. Very good.
Rare diseases is case.
Exposure to events
Hmm.
going backwards.
Hmm.
Starting the study now.
Hmm. The difference between case control and cohort is sir.
Okay.
It is you understood. That means itna मैं I'm like understood.
Case control is for rare diseases and cohort is for common diseases.
Okay, chalo. Exposure should be.
Cohort studies are difficult to conduct and they are expensive.
Yes, correct. Yes, sir. Yes, very good. Anything? I need one more mic. Okay.
Yes,
Calculate instances. Okay, very good. Anything else? Which one is time consuming? Cost is a time consuming. Right.
More expensive also.
More expensive, what sir said, yes. Ethical, that should come, huh? In cost, any ethical issues can be there. Larger sample size, very good for case control. One more thing
Temporal association.
is case control. One more.
Follow.
Yes. There is no follow-up in case control study. There is follow-up in. Yeah. क्यों बता रही हूँ? लिखना है और एग्जाम में आपको पूछे जाएंगे. I think this was seen in the morning. Okay, case report, case series, cross-section, case control, study, and then comes the clinical comparison. Last is ask me one question that just wanted to read the prospective cohort study. So prospective cohort study is when you start your study. Okay, let's say you want to find between diabetes mellitus and coronary heart disease. Let me give you this example. So diabetes mellitus is what? Exposure outcome. It is exposure, and your outcome is coronary heart disease. People having diabetes mellitus, people not having diabetes mellitus. Now you follow them up after one year. You find out how many develop coronary heart disease and coronary who are not having coronary heart disease. To start your study at the baseline, you will have many people. Okay, you will see people who are suffering from coronary heart disease. उनको आप अपने study में से निकाल दो because they are already having the outcome of interest. So you have to just remove them. The remaining cohort will have one diabetic. We have two groups. I will follow them up over a period of time. How many of them develop coronary heart disease? In diabetics also and in non-diabetics also. Prospective cohort study अभी चालू करते हो और आप उसके बाद एक साल 2023 में देखोगे, 2024 में देखोगे, and it is 2030 आप देखोगे. That is the final outcome. वहाँ तक जितने आ गए आप उनको ही लोगे. Clear? Yes. Yes. What if the non-diabetics develop diabetes over a period of time? क्या करेंगे? Diabetic people develop diabetes. That is change हो गया ना, उसका exposure status change हो गया. So what are you going to do?
So what is it saying?
If there are two groups, diabetes and non-diabetes. जो non-diabetic है उसको diabetes हो गया. So are you going to exclude that person from the study, or you will include this person in the study? Outcome is CHD.
Only answer. Then you have got two options. One is exclude the person. The second is you do a sort of a person time, the time that the person is exposed to this thing. So you take that time and use that time as a exposure variable. Till that time he is exposed, isn't it? Till it does not outcome. You can use the time to estimate that. It's a different type of
Time which was there in my presentation, I have removed it. But I think that is that you can remove that person from your analysis, छोड़ दो. As ma'am said, header क्यों चाहिए करके, है ना? Or else because now it becomes the exposed group में चला गया. So then from that time you can see the outcome. That person has changed his group now. He will become a diabetic group. कर सकते हैं, that is one option. Exclude ही कर दो. Best is exclude.
और लेकिन इसमें बताओ कि this person
Your methodology would be right.
the methodology is so many people develop diabetes during our
There will be like a dropout, no sir. There will be like a dropout over a period of time or no.
you can say one way of looking at it, but you will be telling that, see, it is giving you valuable information that during this time of period, so many people are who were not diabetic have turned diabetic.
So what sir said, you remember what sir said कि cohort study हम कब करते हैं? When your exposure is rare, है ना? So it will otherwise यही problem है कि there are so many who will develop.
Another ये भी जैसे लाइक स्मोकिंग और हम लंग कैंसर की बात कर रहे थे, लाइक वन स्मोकर्स का ग्रुप है, अनदर नॉन स्मोकर्स का, एंड वी आर डूइंग द स्टडी, पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर अवेयर, तो स्मोकर्स विल फील अरे हमको हो सकता है, तो दे माइट क्विट स्मोकिंग, then we change their
Yes,
behavior over
they may change their behavior. That is why then you can take exposure time. They have stopped smoking, no? So they are exposed for that particular period. So you are taking them exposure, and then you have to reclassify. Sometimes you have to reclassify. They go into ex-smokers. So it's a very
So sir, we will follow them and we will develop.
yeah.
They will follow so much time and then we can make separate group of such one.
Yes, we can make.
PhD. But over a period of 3 6 that particulars that one only will be the cause. That there will
Outcome. हाँ, cause also. Diabetes can be one of the causes. There will be multiple. That is the confirm. Any other queries, sir? Any other queries? Ma'am, अच्छा point है. Very good. For this question. Any other? I just hope that I tried to explain you. I tried my. I hope you people also tried. I don't know the communication. जो out कैसा रहेगा? Let me continue now because we are going to have to practice.
So basically that is called a survival analysis. You will do survival analysis.
आप सर परसेंट टाइम का मैंने निकाल दिया. I just
she is right. Unless this question comes, you should answer. Otherwise, best is not to confuse.
ऑलरेडी काफी चल रहा है. डेंटल के कितने ग्रुप है अपने पास? You can type it nursing if you want. You got one group of medical. So with ठीक है, तो ग्रुप बना देते हैं ना. सर we have to do this activity. So चाय आने के पहले just divide them. Please go through your timetable. What about your topic? What you have chosen for your MBA? Continuation. Taking the